want 10% of all the action here.
I didn't hear what you said.
I would just say I want 10%
on the other
of
side
all
of the thing, parallel to where you walk.
I don't hear. I'm sorry.
I would say just ask for 10% consulting fee for just listening.
Well, that's Rabbi Wald's business. It has nothing to do with us.
If we negotiate it properly, it'll have what to do with us.
I'm in 10% for Rabbi Horowitz.
Aaron, where do you have palm trees also?
I am in Camelback, the Poconos, Camelback.
In the Poconos. Okay, good.
There's not one person in the entire resort that does not have a bris.
I hope you can't verify that.
What are you, the Minchas Elazar? What?
I hope we can't verify that.
I'm telling you a fact.
Okay, we wait for enough guys to get on.
Aaron, I guess your father's there with you, huh?
Don't care about
No, my father's in Florida driving a convertible Camaro, I saw.
Oh, I thought your father was there. That's how you know.
Yeah.
Where are you?
Okay, let's go. Yeah, Daf Samach Dalet Amud Aleph.
I'm coming.
All right. But tomorrow night's Daf is also going to be early, so I don't know exactly when. Tonight we did it early for Peretz because he's about to get on a flight.
Wait, Liner, you're in Florida right now?
If the rabbi's here, what do you think I am?
Oh, for crying out loud.
Simon. Anyways.
I thought we were just picking on you. But this is a real problem. This is a real problem.
I don't look at it as a problem. I look at it as I found a good key.
Your new name's gonna be Naftali Stein.
Why is that a new name? Why is that a new name?
He'd have to change his handle on the Zoom call here. It'd be NS.
All right.
You know, my son's friends from Yeshiva Raga, because they always see Naftali around the house, asked, is your father's gabbai going to Florida? So my son said, yes, he is. They were shocked. Yeah.
It's
whatever.
It's too good. It's too good.
Okay, let's go. Yeah. Before Peretz gets on that flight and we lose him. Okay, so Zok the Gemara, right? We're on.
Peretz is meeting you down there?
Samach. What? No, he's going back up.
Oh.
Samach Dalet Amud Aleph. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Afat.
What do you mean he's coming back up? I saw him Shabbos.
He was there. He went to he came this morning for the day.
Oh.
Okay, so Rabbi Yehuda, that's what happens when you pay $16 round trip. You could do that.
Jacob, that your whole family probably costs more than driving to the Poconos.
Without a doubt, Aaron Kaplan, without a doubt.
I'm sure.
Not even. Yeah. Okay. So Zok Digama, Rabbi Yehuda Omer Afat Tamid. So Rabbi Yehuda says, even if the korban Tamid is shechted with chametz, then you're also over allowed. My time in Rabbi Yehuda, Amar lo zivchi. It says zivchi, which means, right? Zevach hamayuchadli. It's the zevach that's meyuchad to me. Umayniu tamid. What? That's the tamid, right? So that's So that's how we know that zivchi. So that his tamid is also can be done on the chametz. Shimon Aimer, the Pesach is on the 14th. Yeah. I heard your message there, Rabban. I'm not sure. I don't.
Yeah. Shmuel was insisting it includes them. I said, how do you know it includes them? Where do you see that it includes the Kaval and Halacha? You don't see it.
And Achanami, you're right. It doesn't seem to be. I didn't have that much time to work on
fine.
it. But I hear the. Yeah. So then Reb Shimon, I mean, Pesach Arba Asar, the Pesach is in the Arba Asar. My time is Reb Shimon, meaning why does Reb Shimon say that other korbanos also can't be shechted on chametz? The chsiv zivchi treis zimri. It says zivchi twice. This is a very interesting limud. It says zivchi twice. Kari be zevach. So we read the word zevach zivchai plural, meaning because it says the word zivchi twice, So we're gonna say that it's is plural. So then how come the Torah separated them? But like Kasav Zivchai, so why Taka didn't the Torah right? Zayin Beis Ches 2 Yuds. L'meimar Bisman De'ika Zevach. Right, so it's coming to tell you that when there's a korban, the korban Pesach, Zebchi, you're not going to be chayiv on my korbanos. It's on the leka zevach, but when there's no zevach, meaning during Pesach itself, then you are going to be chayiv at Zebchi. That's why Reb Shimon holds. That that during Pesach, erev Pesach, you're going to be potter on other korbanos, but on Pesach itself, you're going to be chayiv. So then, fine. Okay, if a mayed lishma potter, but on chalamayed or in the yomtiv, if you do it lishma, you potter, and shalai lishma is chayiv. Time at the shalai lishma. The reason that it's fine is because it's shalai lishma. That's why you potter. I'm chayiv, right? Hastama potter. It's mashur it's stama. Then it's potter. Amai. So the why is that Pesach. Amai Pesach b'shari masashana shlomim havi. Korban Pesach. The rest of the year is a shlomim. And Shamas Mina, Pesach b'shari masashana b'yakira. So what are we going to learn from this? That korban Pesach for the rest of the year, you need to be oikarit, meaning it's the default is that a korban, like we said this a few times. The default is that a korban Pesach is going to be a shlomim, right? But you have to be oikarit, meaning it's not going to just become a shlomim automatically. You have to be oikarit from being a korban Pesach, right? So Amar Rav Chia bar Gamda. Nizruka mepi chabura was thrown from the chabura. We had that lashon a few times. So what are we talking about? Talking about where the owners on the 14th were tamei meis. V'nitchen lePesach sheni, and they got pushed off to Pesach sheni. The stama l'shum Pesach koi, because the stama, right? Meaning you don't need to do anything more than that to say that it has the shem Pesach on it, right? Meaning it's only in that specific case. Do you have to say that the korban Pesach for the guy that's tamei, you're being oikarit from a Pesach? But otherwise, tamazai, you wouldn't have to be oikarit from a korban Pesach in order for it to be a shlomim. Okay, so now we get into that's the harder parts of the Gemara, and now the Gemara is the rest of the daf is pretty relatively easy tonight. So Zog the Mishna, HaPesach nishchat b'shalosh kitas. The korban Pesach gets shechted in 3 groups. Shenemer b'shachto oisei kol kahal adas yisroel. Kahal, Ve'eda, Yisroel. So those are 3 different lashinas of gatherings. So therefore, you see from there that the korban Pesach needs to be brought in 3 gatherings. Nichnas kat rishona, the first group goes in the smala hazara, and then until it fills up the entire hazara. Nalu glases hazara, which we see in the Gemara. Then they close the gates of the hazara to let nobody else in. Taku v'riu v'taku. They blow a tekiah, true a tekiah. V'akainim aimdim shuras. And the kohanim stand in rows, and in their hands they have silver utensils and gold utensils. Shura shakula kesef, and they have the row of kohanim that has silver is silver, and the shura shakula zav, and the row that has gold is gold. Layayu muravin, and they didn't mix the 2 together, meaning the gold row was with the gold and the silver was with the silver.
This was Gans Klal Yisrael?
What do you mean?
This was Gans Klal Yisrael went in 3 kitas?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what comes out. But yes, that's what comes out. It's that's one of the nisim. And we're going to see weiter in the Mishna exactly. It's even bigger nisim. But then I don't understand the Gemara on Beis. Well, we'll get to it when we do the Gemara. We'll try and discuss it. I'm not sure exactly what went on over here. But yeah, it's Gans Klal with 3D. I mean, Klal Yisrael who was not tamei.
I understand. Right? But there's a lot of
Yeah. That's what it is. And these bezichin did not have a bottom. Because maybe they're going to put them down and they're going to be kardish to dam. Right? That's all the bowls. I don't know, is bowl the right word? Whatever they were makabel the blood in. Right? So. They never had a bottom. You know, like
they weren't flat bottoms. They had bottoms. They weren't flat.
Right. They had bottoms. They weren't flat. So that's grada. What it's negayat us is does that have a din of kli for natilas yadayim? Pashtus is if you have a kli to wash natilas yadayim that's cone shaped, it doesn't work. right? It doesn't. It's not.
Why doesn't it work for
your,
Natil Sedayim? Because of this?
Because it's not a kli. It's not a kli kibel. It's not a kli kibel. Right? I mean, it is a kli kibel, but it's not. It doesn't have the ability to stand on its own. But that's a. They also kind of the frumas kind of that the menorah. You have those glasses that may not necessarily be able to stand on their own. So the frumas say that those are not kosher for the menorah because they don't stand on their own. But yeah. Anyways, but that's the way they all were in the Beis Hamikdash. He was afraid that the kohanim are going to forget and put it down because they're very busy, and then the blood is going to end up congealing, and they won't be able to sprinkle it or throw it. Yeah, fine. So then shachted yisroel v'kibul kohen. A yisroel shechted the korban, and a kohen was makabel the blood. Nicely l'chaveiroi v'chaveiroi l'chaveiroi, and then he would give it to his friend, and then they would hand it over from one to the other. Makabel es hamaloi or machzir es hareikon. First, they would be makabel the full cup of blood, and then give back the empty one. The Gemara is going to discuss all this. And the kohen who's close to the mezbeach, so what he does is he's going to throw one zrika of blood opposite the yisod. The way the Beis Hamikdash, the way the mezbeach was, is that there were two corners, not corners, two sides of the mezbeach were jut out a little bit more than the other. So that's the yisod. That's called the yisod of the mezbeach. So they would throw the blood on the top, and it would drip down to the yisod. So yotzes shniya. So that's the first. That's the basically what happened in the first one. Then yotzes shniya went out, and then when the second one left, and the third one came. Kemaisa rishona kach maisa shniya, and the way the maisa was with the rishona, something with the shniya, vashlishis, and the shlishis. Kor was a halal. And then while they were doing this, they said halal. In Gomru, if they finished halal shano, they said it again. Im shano shileishu, and if they did it 2 times, then they did it 3 times. Even though they never got to saying halal 3 times, right? Because Rashi says there were a lot of kohanim, and they were able to finish things fast. Right, that's hafti is what is that? The three prokimin, right? So Reb Yehuda says the third one never got the hafti ki yishma Hashem b'nei she'ama muwatim, because the third round was so few people because they stuffed them in the first 2. So kamaseo b'chol, kamaseo b'Shabbos. The way it was done during the weekday, they did it on Shabbos. What the kohanim did is they would stuff up the river or the stream that went through the korban, right? They went through the korban, through the Beis Hamikdash, and they would stuff it up and flood the whole Beis Hamikdash with water. And but the chachamim were not happy with it, which makes you wonder that the kohanim has reason, but that they're not listening to the chachamim, right? Yeah. So kamaseo b'chol, kamaseo b'Shabbos, hashaganim adichin esazar shaloi b'tzon chachamim. They did it without the ratzon chachamim. Why? We'll see in the Gemara. Yehuda Omer, kaisa yimamala midam hataruvas. They took one kais that they mixed with all the different bloods, and they and then they would throw that blood on the mezbeach. The chachamim didn't agree to that either. Right? Fine. Ketzad toilen mafshitin. How did they hang the meats to cut the lamb to cut it up? Right? They had these big metal.
Hooks,
on the walls and on the amudim shebahen toilen mafshitin, and then they would hang it there, and then they would cut it up. Call me she'ein le'makam litlois u'lahafshit. Anybody who didn't have a place to cut it up, maklis dakim v'chalakim hayusham, and they had these thin sticks. Right, Rabban, we just had this in the morning. Right, I was told we had this in the morning.
I wasn't there this morning.
Last week. So what they would do is they would put one end on the shoulder of one guy and one end on the other guy's shoulder, but toilo mafshid, and then they would be toilo mafshid. Rabbi Lezer Omer, Yud Dalid shechalias b'Shabbos, and we're on Tamid Beis. If it was Yud Dalid that fell on Shabbos, so then we're going to see why, right? So Rashi here says you weren't able to be masakin the sticks. Rashi and Shabbos, we just learned this in the morning Chabur. Rashi and Shabbos says that they were muksa, right? So it's really right. It's really the Gemara in Shabbos that says it was muksa, but whatever it is. So Yudal Shchalias b'Shabbos Meniach Yodei al Kesef Chaveroi. He put his hand on his friend's shoulder, V'yad Chaveroi al Ksefoi, and the friend put his hand on his shoulder, but Toilo Mafshid, and then they would hang it and then they would cut it up. Kiru v'Haitzias Murav. And if they would rip it up and take out the murav, nasnu b'megas, and then they would put it into the bowl, and then they would burn everything on the mezbeach. Fine. Now we're back to Shabbos. Yotzes kat rishona. There's another one where I have to say that the art scroll bailed me out. I'm trying to understand what's going on here. Yotzes kat rishona. The Yoshua, right? Baharabai. Right? So, okay, it's really Rashi, but Rashi waits. Rashi says it in the next. Meaning this, who says this is talking about Shabbos? Right? Saying, Yotzes Kata Rishon.
Because they can't walk out carrying.
They can't carry. Yeah. And Hanami, right? That's Shabbat. But I'm looking at it first. I try and learn without Rashi, try to understand. I'm looking, why can't they, right? So then I see Yotzes Kata Rishon, right? And Rashi doesn't say anything about it. V'yoshvela b'harabayis, and they sit in the harabayis. So there Rashi says that's on Shabbos, right? So art school sticks it in by the yotzesa. So then that helped me out, and then I saw the Rashi, right? Right? Rashi says but then they couldn't carry it home. Anyway, so yotzesa kat rishon v'yoshvela b'harabayis, and they just sat in the harabayis. Shniya b'chel. The second group stayed by the chel. That's near the Nashim, right? Rashi says. That's at the beginning of the Harabayas. And Vashlishis, the Mekoyim Medis, and the third one stayed in its place. Right? Chashecha, once it got dark, Yatsu B'Tzolu was saying, and then they went and they all roasted the Pesach. So it comes out. So it wasn't from the Mishna. I just don't have shot in this. The Mishnah sounds like the first group was in the Beis Hamikdash, then they left, and then the second group came in and replaced it. But that doesn't seem like what went on, right?
Yeah, that's what went on.
No, from here it sounds like. So I understand. From here it sounds like. I mean, the Kat Rishona
went to the Harabayis. They didn't stay in the Zara.
They went out of the Rishona, but Yoshua Barabayas. Then they hung out in the Harabayas.
They were holding the.
You mean that was further away? You mean that was Yoshua Harabayas further away than the Chel?
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. I was thinking that the Chel is further away, but you're right.
The Chel is the wall of the Mikdash. The Chel is that's where the Yevonah made the pirzas and the Chel.
Right. Very good. I was thinking the other way around. That it was.
Where is that? Where's the Chel?
It's around the Azara.
Yeah. It's by the Ezra's Nashim. So, okay, so meaning that they went out to the Harabayas, then the second group was by the Chel, the Shlisha stayed mamish in the Azara. Right? And then once it got dark, then everybody went home.
The diak is they stood in the Azara because they're not allowed to sit.
Right, that's right.
Yeah.
They
right. Have to stand.
Right. Very good.
You can't stand you can't sit in the Mikdash. Only on Malchus Beis David.
Right. Yeah, very good. Okay, so then this next one also, I don't understand this Gemara.
So when Pesach came out, Motzi Shabbos, everybody had to, their Seder took about 15 or 18 minutes, the whole Seder. They had to walk to their hotel. They had to walk out of the Beis Hamikdash after Havdalah, walk to the hotel, clean up the meat, then roast it, and then sit down to the Seder, which was probably like 11:45.
Right. I hear. I hear. It's right. Depends how far you have to walk. You have to make sure to get in there. Well, if you got in there early, then you got out early.
Yeah, you got out early. It could be you got out an hour earlier till they packed out of the Mikdash Canara. It was
yeah. So then this next one also I don't really have so clear. So I'm gonna Yitzchak. Talk to Gemara. The Pesach was not shechted only with 3 groups of 30 people, each one
Minimum of 30 people.
Well, that's a minimum of 30 people. So Gemara is going to ask whether it means, what happened to Klal Yisrael over here? This is, I mean,
they went to Camelback for Yom Tov.
I mean, I guess so. They went
stay
to
in
Florida.
Yisroel.
I'm saying, what are we talking? We're talking about. I mean, we're going to see weiter in the Gemara how many people there was. And this is 3 kitas of 30 people, and the Gemara is going to say, right? I'm saying, does that make sense?
Well, he's saying it's a minimum. Let's say maybe he's saying that if there's 100 Yidden, they can't go into one kita. They have to, for whatever reason. Who knows?
You're right, because of the psukim. Right, because of the psukim. But Lamaisa, where is it? That's how many 30 people or 90 people are gonna be in the whole korban Pesach, 90 people?
No, there have to be 30 people at all times.
Per korban Pesach. Well, per animal.
What?
No. It doesn't do per animal. What does it do per animal?
What does it mean, Abadan?
It means never.
Per group. The
never.
group.
There was no people. Most people weren't Shem Shabbos, or that Michigan King put up the Getchkes on the way to Yerushalayim. He didn't let him go to Yerushalayim. Who knows what happened?
Or is Corona? I was thinking Corona.
But by Shani, who knows what happened? You know,
only 90 guys had antibodies or something. Right? I don't know. I don't know. That's It's wild. 3 groups of 30 each, right? For a total of 90. My time, yisroel. Right? So you need to always make sure you have 3 groups. Does it need to be one after the other? Right? Or is it? I'm sorry, it's one at the same time, or is it one after the other? Right? Meaning, really, ultimately, is it 30 or 90? Right? So because of this, you need 3 groups of 30. Because like this, if they're supposed to be there at one time, 30 people at one time, you have it. And if it's zeh, you have it. So like we go in the chumrah to make sure that you have 3 groups of 30 each. So really, 50 would also be enough, right? The Aili Tlasin va'avdi, because you'll have 30 will come in the first group, Aili Asara, and then 10 will come in. Benafki Asara and 10 will go out. Aili Asara, Benafki Asara and 10 will come and 10 will go out. So really, you don't need 90. Really, you can get away with 50 because you had a group of 30, and then the next 2 groups were 10, and also Mamana Shach you yaitza that way.
Why is the next 2 groups of 10 good?
No, because the shaila was, do you need to have at least one group of 30, or does it need to be 30 in combination? Right? So if you do the first group is 30, and then the next group is 10, and then the next group is 10. So then Mimanav Shach, you have 30 at one time, you also have 10, 10, and 10. Well, you have 30, 10, and 10, but that's inclusive 10, 10, and 10. So either way, you're going to be fine. So really, the Gemara is saying you don't need 90, 50 would be enough. Okay, so Nichnas a kat rishayna. Once the first kat went in, Itmar Abaye Amar Nina Lutnan. Abaye says it got closed by itself. Right? That was meaning it was a nace. Rav Amar meaning once the Azara got filled up, Rashi says Me'elen u Maisen Nisim, and it was Maisen Nisim. Rav Amar Noyel and Tanan. No, it means that they closed it up. They had to decide when there was too many people. My benai, what's the difference between them? Ikimenayu lemismach anisa. Whether we should be samech on a nace. Abaye Amar Nina Lutanan. That we say it got closed. Kama da'ailu mailu b'samchinan anisa. Stick in as many as you can, and we'll be samech on the nace. Rav Amar Noyel and Tanan v'loy samchinan anisa. No, you have to close it. You can't be samech on a nace for it to close itself. But the Tanan Amar Rabbi Yehuda Chas v'Shalom shekavi memalal nisnada shein azor nenelas al kol adam b'Yisrael b'chachma yirsched kavi memalal. As this is a Gemara in Idias, a Mishna, right? That a kavi memalal says this. Some said he went into Chayrim. So they said that there's the Azara of kol adam b'Yisrael. The Azara is not going to be closed on anybody from Yisrael, like chachma yirsched, like a kavi memalal. So you see that he was obviously somebody very chashim and he didn't go into Chayrim. Right? So Abai, so what are they going to say? Abai Matar Satamei, but yeah.
Years ago, but a new Garrett.
Yeah, hello?
It's not new anymore, but the Gera Beis Medrash, the big Beis Medrash, when they built it, I was there one Friday night with Reb Zev, the other Reb Zev. We go for Tish, so we went upstairs to the balcony, and I saw a gabbai there with a lock. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, it fills up. We're locking you in." I said, "You could lock it without me, and we're not going in there. I'm going to a locked gate."
Right.
What in Michigan? Chas v'shalom.
Right. That's that's the way. Well, I remember talking about a Geratish one. Once you're in, you're in.
We didn't go in.
Yeah, Taka. Interesting. Yeah. So anyway, so Abai Mataratz Tamei, but Rabbi Mataratz Tamei. Abai Mataratz Tamei, Ein Bazar B'Shas Sheninalu, I'll call Adam B'Yisrael, when it was closed on everybody in Yisrael, B'Chachma V'Yira, shechted Kavi Menam. Right now, like when Kavi Menam. Rabbi Mataratz Tamei, Ein Bazar B'Shas Sheninalu, I'll call Yisrael. There's nobody in the Azara when they close it on everybody. B'Chachma V'Yira shechted Kavi Menam. So each one is going to learn it out. It's Noyalin or Ninalu that they got closed up. Fine. Nobody ever got crushed in the Azara. Pesach Echad, Hillel, except for 1 year, the days of Hillel, somebody did. Boy Zaken Echad, an old man was crushed. And they called it that year was the Pesach of the crushed Pesach. It doesn't say why, what the pshat in that, what punkt that year, I don't know. He wanted to see, he wanted to count Klal Yisrael. Put your eyes on all the korban Pesachs, not the kulya mikol echad. Take the kidney from each one. And you'll see 600,000. When they counted it, they found 600,000 pairs of kloyas, which is kiflayim kiyotze Mitzrayim. That's double what went out from Mitzrayim. Chutz mitame b'shoyeh b'derech l'chayka. Except
I don't understand. There's one korban Pesach for a whole group. So how is that going to count the Klal Yisrael?
I think it's
50
right.
people to one
Right,
korban Pesach.
And Achanami, right? So Gemara's going to say that chutz mitame b'shoyeh b'derech l'chayka, excluding anybody who was tamei and far away. Right, right, and there was no korban Pesach that had more than 10 people. And they called it the movin. Right, the thick, right, the thick, not Avura Aleph, Avura Ayin, thick Pesach, because that's how many Yidden were there that year. So what comes out? Right, it's 10. Well, you don't know how many because it wasn't more than 10. So it was a maximum of 1.2 million times 10, right? Right, that's the maximum, right? 1.2, right? Correct?
Yeah.
1.2 million times 10. That was the maximum. It could have been less. But it's very possible that it was 12 million.
That's only men over bar mitzvah.
Correct.
12 million?
Yeah. So that's wild. So that's what are you saying?
That's 12 million men?
12 million. Yeah, 12 million men.
But it doesn't say that there were
that's a maximum.
10 men registered. It says 10 b'nei adam.
No, right. It's maximum, but it's a maximum of 10.
You Shmuel David, your wife, and you didn't have to register your wife and your kids.
Why is that maximum, not minimum?
Your wife
So
is
I'm saying b'nei adam means men?
Your wife is chayv kazayis, excuse me. But
right, so it's nobody less than I don't know. Did they include ketanim?
it didn't sound like it in the other
Did they include
gemaras.
ketanim?
It didn't sound like it in the other gemaras. The b'nei chabur, it sounded like it was just men in the other gemara.
I hear the maximum, whatever it is, still a large. The maximum is 12 million, right? But it could be it was 1.2. No, but no, it's somewhere in between. That's, or I mean, the maximum 12 million, the minimum 1.2 million. Yeah. Okay, right. They're not kulya. They let him take the kidney. Why is there Gershon? Why is that not the max? I'm saying it's 1.2 million, right? And the maximum we could have had is 10 people per korban. Did I lose everybody?
No.
600,000 pairs of kidneys, 10 people in a group, right?
Right.
I'm saying that's where we're coming up with the number.
Number 10 is the minimum, not the maximum.
No, it says Shalai Nimnu Olav Yoiser Me'asar B'nei Adam. Shalai Nimnu Olav Yoiser. They didn't count on it more
There
than
was
10.
never a Pesach.
Where there was more than 10, and that was called the thick Pesach.
There was never a
So usually
Pesach
it
which
wasn't
did
that
not count
big.
more than 10. That means
I don't know.
every
I don't,
Pesach had at least 10. Double negative.
no, I know, but it doesn't make sense. Shalai Nimnu Olav Yoiser Me'asar B'nei Adam. That it wasn't counted more than, it shouldn't say Yoiser me. It should say
Yeah.
less. No, if it's saying like you, it should say no less than 10.
No. No. That would have to say every Pesach.
I don't know. You haven't shvach service. Okay, I don't know. Let's
Pesach more than 10. That means every time there was more than 10.
right. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure. That's the way. What? Yeah. Does the art scroll say? It doesn't say less.
I mean, and you will not find even one Pesach from all the Pesachs that were offered that did not have more than 10 people registered for it.
That did not have more. So what does that mean? Did not have more.
But what is it? Doesn't make sense. With the other Gemara said you have to have at least eat at least a kazayas. So what would be the problem? You can have it because it's not a big problem to have kazayas and only have 10 people on it.
Shalai nimnu yoiser me'asara b'nei adam. It wasn't counted more than 10.
Take both the negatives out. What is it?
Right. I was thinking double negative is a positive, right?
That's what it
Double
is.
Say that every
Each
Pesach
group had
more
at
than
least
10.
that number.
Right. So I don't know. Shalai nimnu olav yoiser. But why is it yoiser? Right? I would
Because
say
that's what happens when you take the negative out. It means yoiser. Each one had more than 10.
So you're saying minimum 1.2 million? Minimum. Okay, I hear.
Correct.
Times 10. Minimum. Yeah.
Right, I hear you. Okay, okay, good, very good. Okay, so good, my mistake. So I said Pesach Ma'uvin, and they called it the fat Pesach. No, so then it says not the kulya habai aktar. What they took the kulya to count it when we need to burn it. The hadar maktilu. So no, they took it and then they went back and they burned it. But it says that they should burn it, right? Meaning burn it without. Don't just pile it all up together and burn it. That you shouldn't mix all the challah with each other. The hadar maktilu chada chada. Talking about where they went back and they were makter each one separate, which is a headache, right? They took all the kidneys and then they had to put them back and then they each one burned each one separate. So right? It says that they should burn all of them together, right? This is different. This is not a steer to the Gemara before, right? Meaning you have to burn the kidneys together with the rest of the fats from that korban, right? The Gemara's first kasha, it was that you have to burn them, right? Not meaning burn each one separate. This kasha is that, but you have to burn them together with the rest of the animal. Ella tfisa ba'alma. All he did was hold on to it. The shaka minayu, he took it from them until they gave him something in exchange, right? So he can't. So I don't know why he needed such a complicated process, right? So then let each one give like a chatzi shekel or something. Well, you got to give the kidney, and then he'll give back the kidneys once you have that. Okay, I don't know. Fine. Kahanim oimdim shuras. So there were kahanim standing in rows. My time. What's the reason? If the reason why they had to have separate rows, right? One row holding gold kalim and the other row holding silver kalim. So if the reason why we didn't want to mix it up is because gold is more chashuv than silver. Maybe you're gonna end up giving. He's gonna take a utensil that costs 200 and put it into something that's only 100, which is less chashuv. Right? No, it has nothing to do with it. There's no problem with going from something more expensive or the cheaper gold to silver. It's just it looked much more beautiful if you have a row of silver and a row of gold. So then it looks more nicer. Fine. And the bezichin, right? The bowls didn't have a bottom. They did not have bottoms. Except for the incense of the lechem upon him, right? Incense or frankincense? Hold on, let me see. Frankincense. Okay, I don't know what either one of them is. I know whatever. It's stuff that people smoke. Okay, whatever it is.
One second. If it belongs to Stein, is it Frankenstein?
Very good. Okay. So chutz mi v'zichel levayna shel lechem upon him. So the lechem upon him, the frankincense, the lechem upon him, that had a bottom. Why shema yenichem v'yifres alechem? No, because they were afraid that if you can have a pointy bottom, you're gonna put it down and you're gonna end up busting up the bread. Fine. Shachted yisroel v'kibbul kohen. So the yisroel shechted and the kohen is makabel. Lo sagid the lav yisroel. You have to have a yisroel. What happens if a kohen wants to shechted? From the Gemara, from the Mishna, it sounds like a yisroel has to shecht the korban. Who says? Right. So he kufa kamashmal. No, that's what it's coming to tell you. The shechita bizarre kashera. Yeah, shechita. A yid is kosher to shecht. The kibbul kohen. What's the kohen being makabel? It kamashmalon. The Kabbalah ve'elech mitzvos kahuna. From the Kabbalah and on, it's the mitzvos kahuna. Nice and lechaver, and then he gives it to his friend. Shamas mina halecha shaloi beregel. I blew through that. Hakamashim Kabbalah ve'elech mitzvos kahuna. So basically, the Gemara is saying that the Kabbalah ve'elech is the mitzvah of the kahuna. So up till shechita, Yisraelim can do it. After that, it's all kohanim. So then the Gemara says nice and lechaver. So what they did is they handed it one to the next. Nobody actually carried the not carried. Nobody actually carried. Walked with it because they were handing it from one kohen to the next. So what do you say? Okay, anyways. You don't have to actually, yeah, right. One of the mitzvahs is to carry the blood to the mezbeach. So even without actually carrying it, that's considered halacha. So Gemara says no. Dilma. Who nayid purta? Maybe the kohen moves a little bit, right? Okay, so then what's the chiddush? Meaning, if he moves a little bit, so then that's halacha. So what's the chiddush of handing? Meaning, the Gemara thinks that if you hand from one kohen to the next, so then you that the chiddush is that you don't have to actually walk with the blood to the mizbeach. So Gemara says no, maybe the kohen moved a little bit and there's no chiddush. So hakamash v'lo. The Gemara is saying no. The reason why they wanted to hand it from one to the next. Is Baravam Hadras Melech, because Raivam Hadras Melech, the more people you could do a mitzvah with, the better it is. So I don't know why they didn't always do this, right? They only did this for korban Pesach. I don't think they did this every korban. So I'm not sure. Fine. Kibbulas Amalei Machzer Sarekan. He was makabel at Malei and he gave it back empty. Avaliv Chaloi, meaning he didn't take it empty and then give something full. Messiah Leila Rav Shimon Lakish, Don Shimon Lakish, Ein Mavir and Allah Mitzvahs. Right, this proves us the ein mavir and alla mitzvahs, meaning the mitzvah is to take the full one. To give the empty one is not a mitzvah. So first pass the full one of blood, and then take the empty one. Right? What's the big chumrah that the Fruma Olam wants to say? Like when somebody gives you challah, when the balabas cuts the challah Friday night, so they say no, you can't pass to the next person. Ein mavir and alla mitzvahs. Ever heard that one? Right, I'm not so sure what the deal is with that. I don't think that's called in Mavir and All Mitzvahs, but maybe it is. That's the same thing here. Rather, the kohen, yeah, but the kohen, meaning the kohen that should first be makabel the bucket or the whatever it is, the thing full of blood, and then give back the empty. Don't give the back the empty first, right? Fine. Kohen hakarav etzel mizbeach. So the kohen that was close to the mizbeach throws the blood on there. Mantana Pesach was Zrika. Who says that Pesach is with Zrika? Meaning normally with the mezbeach, you take with the finger and you wipe it on the mezbeach. Here it says you throw it and it flows. Yeah.
So if you don't have time, you don't have to answer. How far do you say with Emavir and Al Mitzvahs? You're talking about the Chala. Can I walk past young Israel and daven by the Sulitza? If they're davening,
in a Hanami, that's but you're right, but you're right. But in Halacha, what's even more interesting, it says fakert. You should go
to the furthest shul.
Right. So in a Hanami. Right. Okay. Obviously, the big one is also Emavir Al Mitzvahs is not to put your tefillin in front of your talis. Right. You got to put your talis.
I mean, where does the Barovam Hadras Melech fit into the shul thing?
That taka, David. That's a real issue. That's a real issue because who says all these small shuls? Who says all these small shuls should be big shuls, which is clearly the lechatchila. It's clearly a lechatchila that bigger shuls. The only time it really, I don't know if it's the only time, but one of the main times the Mishna brings it is by Megillah. Megillah, he says, right, the Sharatzi, and he says, unless you have a set shul, you should go into the biggest shul. You should go to the biggest shul.
What about yeshivas?
What?
What about yeshivas?
Yeshivas, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. And Hanami, I don't know. You want more people for Darchei? They already have the Roibam, right? Baruch Hashem. But it's interesting. There is a disagreement between Hasidim and the Litvish.
About what?
By Hasidim, everybody makes Kiddush themselves and Avdallah themselves because Hasidim go with mitzvah by Yosem B'Shluchai over Rav Am. The Litvish
even with the challahs by Shalashus, everybody makes on the same two challahs. Everybody
they hand it off to each other. So the Litvish go with Rav Am, and we say Rav Am is better than each person mitzvah by Yosem B'Shluchai. But Chasidim go with mitzvah by Yosem B'Shluchai more important than Rav Am.
What's the Claire? What's the Lumdus one then?
Which way? Rav Am. Shaila is how important Rav Am is. How important is Rav Am over you doing the mitzvah more than the shul?
Why do they hold mitzvah? Why do they hold mitzvah by Yosem Shlucha is better, and why do they hold Rav Am is better?
Because otherwise there wouldn't be a Machlokes.
Parrots, I see you must be delayed, Parrots.
Just slightly.
I apologize for running late.
What?
Yep, just slightly.
Okay.
Came from Jamaica.
They're waiting for you to finish the daf. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they thought you were going to just finish now with the 2 dots.
You got to fill out that form, Tiago.
To remember. Which form?
The traveler form.
All right.
Unless you're less than 24 hours.
I hear. Okay. Anyway, so
I was delayed
so
in the morning.
Oh boy. Okay, we'll do the next stuff. No.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll finish the dot fast, parents. Maybe it'll take off. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So no, it's like you're right. It's like any other machlokes. Is it more important for you to do the mitzvah, more important than the Rav Am? I don't know, because in the Beis Hamikdash they didn't do this every korban. They didn't make a lineup of kehanim and hand it from back and forth one to the other. By Pesach they did it, but it doesn't seem like they did it every day. So when do you say that Rav Am is a priority? When is it not? Right? The Chassidim don't daven in small minyanim so that they have more people davening for the Amud. They go with big minyan. The truth is.
No, don't they? By Chassidim, Yaakov, when the loyal lady was a shiva, don't they be makbid to have the Amud for everybody?
Right, that's what I was thinking. And also they'll split up a main minyan, right? They'll split up a minyan, 30 people into, I don't know, I hear. Anyways, okay, let's go to the next 2 dots, why not? Kohen HaKarav Eitzel Mizbeach. Anybody maybe that comes on early for the 9 o'clock because they didn't see that we're doing early, maybe they'll get something in, I don't know. Okay. So Kohen HaKarav Eitzel Mizbeach. So the Kohen that was Karav is the one he threw it. Mantana Pesach Bezrika. Who's the one that says the Pesach you throw it on there? Amar Rav Chisda Rav Yosef Glili. The Tana Yosef Glili. Aimer as Damam Tizrek Ala Mizbeach. You throw the blood on the Mizbeach. Ves Chelbam Taktir. And the Chelev you're Taktir. Damai Loi Nemar. It doesn't say blood. Ella Dam but Damam. I'm sorry. Damai Loi Nemar. It doesn't say his blood. It says their blood. Chelbai Loi Nemar. Ella Chelbam. Limit al Bechoru, Meiser Pesach. So that teaches us that Bechor and Meiser Behema, and Pesach Shein Tuun and Matan Dama Ve'imur and Lagam They need you to put the blood and the Imur on the Mizbeach. Minal Tatun Yisaid. Okay, so how do you know that it needs to go onto the base? Right, that you throw it on the top and then it goes onto the base. Amar Rebbe Lazar, ask you Zrika me oila, because we learned it out. Zera Shava from oila, from Zrika Ziv Hacha Estamam Tizrik al Mizbeach. Uksiv Hasam Bezarka B'nei Aaron Akaina Estamam al Mizbeach. Saviv. Right, ma oila tuna Yisaid. It's just like the oila needs a base. Pesach namitan Yisaid. So Pesach also needs Yisaid. Oila Gufa Minalan, and oil. How do we know the oila needs the Yisaid? Amakra al Yisaid Mizbeach oila. Until to the Yisaid of mezbeach oila, Hama oila to una Yisaid. So therefore, you see that an oila needs a Yisaid, and we learn out from oila to Pesach. All right, good enough. Tomorrow night, my stomach will have to do like 7:45, something like that, 7:40, if that's okay for the oila. I don't really see much of a choice. Or we can do 11 or 11:15. 11:30.
I prefer the 7:40.
Me too.
Jesse will also want the 7:40. I could vote Jesse's vote.
I would imagine. Yeah, very good. Yeah. All right.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Okay, good enough, everybody.
Go ahead.
All right.
So Yaakov, you're going to learn in the morning? Or
I'm going to try. It depends on the kids with the shach. This morning, I actually 20 because the shachris took so long to get going. So it's touch and go. I'm going to try.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right.
Enjoy.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Gershon, shkoya for that ha'ara, but I was confused with the double negative there. You know what I mean?
Yaakov.
Yeah.
That the minimum is 11
Why? 10
per carbon.
Why you say?
There.
Right. You think
there wasn't
so?
A carbon that didn't. Each one had at least 11. Yeah.
Now you're really stretching it. Yaiser me'asara. So you're saying that means 11.
Punja, we did the daf early, Punja.
He knows. He was been on, Peretz.
Oh, okay. I just saw him join.
All right. Good enough. Peretz, have a safe flight. Thank you.
It's Yaakov. Can I call you for 2
You have
minutes?
a very bad service, so I'm not. You're cutting out most of the time.
I
Go
know.
ahead. All right.